The Amur Tiger, symbol of South Korea's heritage and pride. The Amur Tiger, known scientifically as Panthera tigris altaica, stands as one of the most magnificent creatures to have ever roamed the Korean peninsula. Also called the Siberian Tiger, this apex predator has woven itself deeply into the cultural fabric of Korea, representing courage, power, and the untamed spirit of the nation. Though functionally extinct in South Korea today, the Amur Tiger remains a potent symbol of Korean identity, appearing in folklore, art, architecture, and even as the official mascot of the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Understanding the tiger's role in Korean heritage requires exploring both its biological significance and its profound cultural resonance throughout Korean history. The majestic Amur Tiger. Biological profile. The Amur tiger is the largest of all tiger subspecies, with males weighing between 180 and 306 kilograms and measuring up to 3.3 meters in length from nose to tail. Females are considerably smaller, typically weighing between 100 and 167 kilograms. Their distinctive rusty reddish coat, marked with dark vertical stripes, provides camouflage in the forests and grasslands they once inhabited. Unlike their tropical cousins, Amur tigers have developed thicker fur to withstand the harsh winters of northeastern Asia, with their winter coat being noticeably paler and longer than their summer pelage. These solitary hunters are perfectly adapted predators, equipped with powerful muscles, sharp retractable claws, and canine teeth that can reach up to 7 centimeters in length. Their eyesight is exceptional, particularly in low light conditions, making them formidable nocturnal hunters. Amur tigers are carnivorous, with their diet primarily consisting of large ungulates such as wild boar, red deer, and roe deer. A single adult tiger requires approximately 9 to 10 kilograms of meat per day, though they can consume up to 50 kilograms in a single feeding after a successful hunt. The territorial range of an Amur tiger is vast, reflecting the relatively low density of prey in their northern habitat. Male tigers typically patrol territories spanning 800 to 1,000 square kilometers, while females occupy smaller ranges of approximately 300 to 500 square kilometers. These territories are marked with scent markings, scratch marks on trees, and vocalizations that warn other tigers to stay away. Despite their solitary nature, tigers do interact during mating season, with females raising cubs alone for approximately 2 years before the young tigers disperse to establish their own territories. Historical distribution on the Korean peninsula. Historically, the Amur tiger was widely distributed throughout the Korean peninsula, from the dense forests of the north to the mountainous regions of the south. Historical records and archaeological evidence suggest that tigers were abundant in Korea until the early 20th century, with the animals playing a significant role in the daily lives of rural communities. Korean farmers and hunters frequently encountered tigers, and these interactions shaped local customs, beliefs, and survival strategies. The tiger's habitat in Korea consisted primarily of mixed forests dominated by Korean pine, oak, and other deciduous trees. These forests provided both cover for stalking prey and an abundance of the deer and wild boar that formed the tiger's primary food source. The mountainous terrain of the peninsula, with its deep valleys and rocky outcrops, created ideal conditions for tigers to establish dens and raise their young. Rivers and streams that cut through these forests provided water sources essential for both tigers and their prey, creating a complete ecosystem that supported healthy tiger populations. During the Joseon dynasty, which lasted from 1392 to 1897, tigers were so common that the government established official tiger hunting units to protect villages from tiger attacks. Historical documents from this period record thousands of tiger sightings and encounters, with some regions reporting dozens of tiger-related human fatalities each year. The prevalence of tigers in Korean society during this era is evident in the extensive documentation of tiger management policies, hunting records, and compensation systems for victims of tiger attacks. The tiger in Korean mythology and folklore. The tiger occupies a central position in Korean mythology, often portrayed as a guardian spirit and a creature of great wisdom and power. In Korean creation myths, the tiger appears alongside the bear in the story of Dan-gun, the legendary founder of the first Korean kingdom, Gojoseon. According to the myth, a tiger and a bear prayed to Huaneng, the son of the heavenly king, asking to become human. Huaneng gave them 20 cloves of garlic and a bundle of mugwort, instructing them to eat only this food and remain in a cave for 100 days. The bear persevered and transformed into a woman, eventually giving birth to Dan Gun. The tiger, however, could not endure the trial and fled the cave, remaining an animal forever. This foundational myth reveals much about how Koreans have traditionally viewed tigers. The tiger represents raw power and martial strength, but also impatience and an inability to achieve spiritual transformation through discipline and perseverance. In contrast to Chinese cultural traditions, where the tiger often symbolizes ferocity and danger, Korean folklore frequently depicts tigers with a more nuanced character, sometimes fierce but other times foolish, comical, or even benevolent. Korean folktales abound with tiger characters that display remarkably human qualities. In some stories, tigers are portrayed as creatures that can understand human speech and even honor agreements made with humans. One popular tale tells of a tiger that spared a woodcutter's life after the man sang a sad song about his poverty and misfortune, the tiger being moved to tears by the man's plight. Other stories feature tigers being outwitted by clever humans or other animals, particularly the rabbit, which frequently serves as a trickster figure in Korean folklore. The mountain god, or Sansin in Korean folk religion, is frequently depicted accompanied by a tiger, with the animal serving as the deity's mount or companion. Sansin shrines, found throughout Korea's mountains, often feature paintings or carvings showing an elderly bearded figure seated beside or riding a tiger. This association reinforces the tiger's role as a guardian of the mountains and forests, protecting these sacred spaces from harm and maintaining the natural order. Travelers and hunters traditionally paid respects at Sansin shrines before venturing deep into tiger territory, seeking protection and safe passage. Tigers in Korean art and architecture. The image of the tiger permeates Korean visual culture, appearing in paintings, sculptures, ceramics, and architectural decorations spanning centuries. During the Joseon dynasty, tiger paintings became particularly popular among both the aristocracy and common people. These artworks ranged from fierce, realistic depictions emphasizing the tiger's power and majesty to more playful and humorous representations that drew on folk traditions. One distinctive genre of Korean tiger painting is the harangi, or folk tiger painting, which flourished during the late Joseon period. These paintings typically feature tigers with exaggerated facial features, including large round eyes, prominent whiskers, and somewhat comical expressions. Unlike the regal and fearsome tigers of Chinese or Japanese art, Korean folk tigers often appear friendly and approachable, sometimes even smiling. These paintings served as talismans believed to ward off evil spirits and bring good fortune to households. They were particularly popular during the Lunar New Year celebrations, when families would display tiger paintings to protect their homes in the coming year. The most famous Korean tiger paintings were created by members of the Royal Court Painting Academy, who produced more realistic and sophisticated works for the aristocracy. These paintings often depicted tigers in natural settings, such as bamboo groves or mountain landscapes, emphasizing both the animal's physical power and its harmonious relationship with the natural environment. Some of the finest examples of this tradition can be found in the collection of the National Museum of Korea, showcasing the technical mastery and artistic sensitivity of Joseon-era painters. Tiger motifs also appear extensively in Korean architecture, particularly in palace buildings, temples, and city gates. Stone tigers guard the entrances to important buildings, their fierce expressions intended to frighten away evil spirits and protect those within. Roof tiles and eaves often feature tiger decorations, while interior walls may display tiger murals. The Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul, the main royal palace of the Joseon dynasty, incorporates numerous tiger motifs throughout its design, reflecting the animal's association with royal power and authority. Cultural significance and symbolism. In Korean culture, the tiger embodies multiple symbolic meanings that have evolved over centuries. First and foremost, the tiger represents courage, strength, and martial prowess. Korean warriors and military leaders have long identified with the tiger's fearless nature and hunting skill. During the Korean War and subsequent conflicts, Military units adopted tiger imagery in their insignia and emblems, drawing on this traditional association between tigers and martial excellence. The tiger also symbolizes protection and guardianship in Korean thought. This protective aspect manifests in various cultural practices, from the placement of tiger statues at building entrances to the wearing of tiger-themed amulets by children. Parents traditionally dressed young boys in tiger-striped clothing or hats adorned with tiger faces, believing this would protect them from illness and evil influences. This practice reflected the belief that tigers possessed spiritual power capable of repelling malevolent forces. Furthermore, the tiger represents national identity and the Korean spirit itself. The Korean peninsula has been described as resembling a tiger in geographical outline, with the northern regions forming the head and the southern portion representing the tail and legs. This geographical comparison has reinforced the tiger's status as a national symbol, representing Korea's territorial integrity and distinctive identity. During periods of foreign occupation or national crisis, the tiger image has served as a rallying symbol for Korean resistance and resilience. The tiger's association with mountains and wilderness also connects it to Korean concepts of the sublime and the sacred. Mountains have long held special significance in Korean culture as places of spiritual power and natural beauty. The tiger, as the undisputed master of these mountain realms, embodies the wild, untamed forces of nature that command both respect and reverence. This association elevated the tiger beyond a mere predator to a creature possessing almost supernatural qualities. The decline and disappearance of Korean tigers. The 20th century witnessed the tragic decline and ultimate disappearance of tigers from the Korean peninsula. Multiple factors contributed to this extinction, with Japanese colonial rule playing a particularly devastating role. When Japan colonized Korea in 1910, the colonial administration initiated aggressive tiger extermination campaigns, viewing the animals as dangerous pests that hindered economic development and posed threats to rural communities. Japanese authorities offered bounties for dead tigers and organized systematic hunting expeditions to eliminate tiger populations. Colonial records document the killing of hundreds of tigers during this period, with professional hunters and military personnel conducting organized drives to locate and destroy tiger dens. The colonial government promoted these extermination efforts as modernization and civilization, arguing that wild predators had no place in a properly developed society. This campaign effectively eliminated most tiger populations in southern and central Korea by the 1930s. The devastation of the Korean War further accelerated the tiger's decline. The intense combat that raged across the peninsula from 1950 to 1953 destroyed vast expanses of forest habitat through bombing, artillery fire, and the movement of armies. The ecological disruption caused by the war decimated prey populations, making it impossible for the remaining tigers to find sufficient food. Additionally, the proliferation of firearms among both military personnel and civilians led to more tiger killings, either for safety reasons or for profit from tiger parts. By the 1960s, reliable tiger sightings in South Korea had become extremely rare. The last confirmed killing of a tiger in South Korea occurred in 1922, though unverified reports of sightings continued sporadically until the 1960s. In North Korea, tigers may have survived slightly longer in the remote mountainous regions near the Chinese border, but no confirmed sightings have been documented for decades. Today, the Amur tiger is considered functionally extinct throughout the Korean peninsula, surviving only in small populations in the Russian Far East and northeastern China. The loss of habitat proved equally devastating to tiger survival as direct hunting. As Korea's human population grew and industrialization accelerated, forests were cleared for agriculture, urban development, and resource extraction. The construction of roads and railways fragmented remaining forest areas, making it impossible for tigers to maintain the large territories necessary for their survival. Even if hunting had ceased, the dramatic reduction and fragmentation of suitable habitat would have made long-term tiger survival impossible without major conservation interventions. The tiger in modern Korean identity. Despite its physical absence from Korean landscapes, the tiger remains vibrantly alive in modern Korean culture and national consciousness. The animal's symbolic power was prominently displayed during the 1988 Seoul Summer Olympics, when Hodori, a friendly cartoon tiger, served as the official mascot. Hodori, whose name combines ho, tiger, with dori, a diminutive term, wore a traditional Korean hat and embodied the harmony between Korean tradition and modern aspirations. The mascot became internationally recognized and helped present South Korea as a dynamic nation proud of its cultural heritage. Korean sports teams frequently adopt tiger names and imagery to project strength and competitive spirit. The Kia Tigers, one of South Korea's most popular professional baseball teams, has built a devoted fan base partly through its fierce tiger branding. The imagery resonates with Korean supporters who identify the tiger with winning spirit and national pride. Similarly, various martial arts schools and taekwondo organizations incorporate tiger symbolism into their emblems and philosophies, drawing on the traditional association between tigers and martial excellence. In contemporary Korean art and design, tiger motifs continue to evolve while maintaining connections to traditional forms. Modern Korean artists reinterpret folk tiger imagery through contemporary styles, creating works that bridge historical and modern aesthetics. During Lunar New Year celebrations, particularly in years designated as Tiger Years in the East Asian zodiac, tiger decorations flood markets and shops. These range from traditional folk painting reproductions to modern graphic designs, demonstrating the tiger's enduring appeal across generations. Korean corporations and brands also leverage tiger symbolism to convey qualities of strength, reliability, and national identity. Companies use tiger logos and names to establish trust and project confidence in competitive markets. This commercial use of tiger imagery reflects how deeply embedded the animal remains in Korean cultural consciousness, serving as an instantly recognizable symbol that communicates specific values and associations to Korean consumers. Conservation efforts and hope for the future. In recent years, growing environmental awareness has sparked discussions about the possibility of reintroducing Amur tigers to the Korean peninsula. Conservation organizations and wildlife experts have begun exploring whether suitable habitat still exists and what measures would be necessary to support a viable tiger population. These discussions reflect a broader awakening to the importance of biodiversity conservation and the ecological costs of past development practices. The Demilitarized Zone (DMZ) between North and South Korea has emerged as a potential site for tiger reintroduction efforts. This heavily fortified strip of land, approximately 250 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide, has remained largely undisturbed by human activity for over 70 years. In the absence of human interference, the DMZ has become an accidental wildlife preserve, with forests regenerating and prey species populations recovering. Some conservationists envision the DMZ as a potential peace park that could serve as protected habitat for various species, including potentially reintroduced tigers. However, significant challenges confront any tiger reintroduction program. The current wild population of Amur tigers numbers only around 500 individuals, primarily in Russia's Primorsky Krai region. This population itself faces threats from habitat loss, poaching, and human-wildlife conflict. Removing individuals from this vulnerable population to establish a Korean population would require careful planning and international cooperation. Additionally, the Korean peninsula's high human population density and intensive land use create fundamental obstacles to establishing territories large enough to support breeding tiger populations. South Korea has taken steps to preserve the tiger's cultural legacy even as the animal remains physically absent. Museums throughout the country feature exhibits on Korean tigers, educating the public about their historical presence and cultural significance. The National Institute of Ecology operates research programs studying the Korean peninsula's historical ecosystems, including the role tigers played in maintaining ecological balance. These educational and research initiatives help maintain public awareness of the tiger's importance to Korean heritage. Cross-border conservation cooperation offers perhaps the most realistic path toward eventually restoring tigers to Korean ecosystems. If relations between North and South Korea continue to improve, Joint conservation initiatives could leverage the DMZ's ecological potential while supporting tiger conservation efforts in neighboring Russian and Chinese territories. Such cooperation would require unprecedented diplomatic coordination, but it represents a vision that integrates peace-building with environmental restoration. Conclusion: living symbol of Korean heritage. The Amur Tiger's story in Korea encompasses triumph and tragedy, reverence and loss. From its central role in creation myths to its prominence in art and folklore, the tiger has shaped Korean cultural identity for millennia. Though now absent from Korean forests, the tiger continues to roam through the Korean imagination, symbolizing the courage, strength, and independent spirit that Koreans have long admired and aspired to embody. The extinction of Korean tigers represents one of the peninsula's most significant ecological losses, removing an apex predator that helped maintain healthy forest ecosystems for thousands of years. Yet the animal's cultural presence has not diminished with its physical disappearance. If anything, the tiger's absence has intensified its symbolic power, transforming it into an emblem of what was lost during colonization and war, and what might yet be recovered through conservation and environmental stewardship. As South Korea has emerged as a global economic power and cultural force, the tiger symbol has traveled worldwide alongside Korean popular culture, cuisine, and technology. International audiences encountering Korean culture discover the tiger's significance, learning how this magnificent predator shaped a nation's mythology, art, and collective identity. The tiger thus serves as a cultural ambassador, introducing Korean traditions and values to new generations around the world. The possibility of tigers returning to Korean mountains remains uncertain, dependent on complex ecological, political, and social factors. Regardless of whether living tigers ever again prowl Korean forests, the animal's place in Korean heritage is secure. The Amur tiger endures as a symbol of Korea's past, a reminder of its natural heritage, and an inspiration for its future. A magnificent creature that continues to captivate Korean hearts and minds long after its footprints faded from Korean soil. In art, story, and symbol, the tiger remains an eternal presence, forever running through the mountains of Korean imagination and cultural memory.